Okay, welcome back. We'll try to head now. I'm summarizing this letter if people want to look at it. Again, it's in the Sefer Nesiva Shavim Michtovim, and it's on page Kuf Mem Hey, letter number Tzadi Aleph. So the Rabbi says that it's very difficult at this time, but a person has to try to take a few minutes to think, what is my obligation in this world? What am I here for? And to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here in this time as well, and that He sets boundaries to this darkness. It's a pasuk in Eov, Kates Som Lachoshech. There are boundaries to darkness. This is not going to go on forever. That's the dimyon, that's the imagination that's taken me over and makes me think that there can be no hope. Try to have a friend who can remind you of that and help you see that. Try to keep certain things consistent in life, to come to tefillah, to try to put strength into learning Torah in that time, even though you know you won't be concentrating that well, even though you know your tzaros will be distracting you. If a person pushes and tries, that'll enable you to see that the despair and the depression are not bringing you to your knees. It'll help you regain your health. It'll help you approach. At the time of Matan Torah, it says, Moshe Rabbeinu nigash el ha'arafel asher sham Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu had to walk into the arafel. Arafel is a certain type of fog. Now he points out here from Chazal that there are three types of fog. Choshech, Onon, va'arafel. Arafel is the deepest, darkest cloud that can possibly be. In order to connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Moshe Rabbeinu had to go through the Arafel. All of us have to walk that path. All of us at some point in life will have that Arafel, and we have to keep putting one foot in front of the other till we reach Hashem, because He is there. And He brought that Arafel into our lives. And if a person sees and senses it, and takes the time to take some steps, despite it all, even if you don't feel it so much inside, to do the actions that you're supposed to do, to remember and remind yourself. One time he mentions this is Shabbos. Shabbos is a time that comes into the world no matter what is happening. Even when Tisha B'Av comes on Shabbos, we celebrate Shabbos. And even if a person doesn't feel it, to put on Shabbos clothes. I had heard from Rabbi Shuster, quoting, I think it was Rav Moshe Wolfson, when we find that Esther, it says, Vatilbash Esther Malchus, Vatamod B'chatzer Beis HaMelech HaPnimis. Esther put on her royal clothes, and she found herself, suddenly she was standing in the inner chamber of the king. He said, this is describing what happens when a Jew is depressed and a Jew is upset. And Shabbos comes, and when I'm going to wear my monkey suit, I'm going to put on my Shabbos clothes. What's that going to do? What's that going to do for me? But you have an open invitation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu's table every Shabbos, no matter what's happening. And to remind yourself that that's still there is so important. Along with this, I would add in something, again, that I'd heard in the name of the Kloisenberger Rebbe, is to take care of yourself. To take care of yourself in little ways. The Kloisenberger Rebbe said, and he was speaking about what he did with the people in the DP camps after World War II, says, when you treat the Jewish body as it should be treated, the Jewish soul comes to life as well. Oftentimes when a person is in times of difficulty, so they neglect themselves. They don't take a shower, they don't wash their clothes, they don't eat properly, they don't sleep properly. This again is from the eitz of the Yetzer that just brings you down and down and down. If you take care of yourself, if you remind yourself that you have value, the soul and body are linked. And sometimes when you can treat the body properly, then the soul can regain health as well. Again, these are tiny eitzes. Everybody's situation is individual, is there. But it's important to know that there are people in Am Yisrael who see this pain, who know, who understand it. And you shouldn't be ashamed to speak to someone about it. And to know that that person you're speaking to, who you imagine never had anything like this. He may have never had anything like what you're going through, but he had those things, or she had those things that she's going through as well. And to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there, and through navigating this process of pain, which we don't understand, to go through the Arafel, to keep going step after step, we connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way which is more powerful than anything we do in our life when it's all sunshine and roses. Again, as I mentioned, the questions are huge. The questions of Tzadik V'Ralo, Rasha V'Tovlo. People ask, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do anything. Why can't he achieve all these spiritual purposes in life without our having to go through pain? There are many approaches, many things you can read about this. I'd like to point you to a series of shiurim I started listening to by Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. They're available on his website called yeshiva.net. And he has an Emunah series, and a variety of those lectures are speaking about the question of pain in our lives. And what's especially nice about them is he's responding to letters that people wrote to him. He's responding to the real pain. I recommend looking at those. And again, feel free to be in touch with me through my email, and I'm happy to try to refer you to things that may be able to be more helpful. Most of all, we're all part of a chabura. Those of us who learned in the yeshiva and Midrash Rachel, there's an idea of ish l're'eo yomar chazak. Let's keep our eyes open for each other. As the son of Rabbi with his eyes was able to spot that person in shul and sense the pain he was going through. Again, you may not be the one to approach that person, but you can certainly daven for them. You can certainly know, you can certainly feel. Let's not be calloused. Let's not be cold. Let's not be self-centered. Let's try to have our open minds and hearts for those who are in pain, and also, hopefully, then to be able to share in their simcha as they come out of that darkness into the light which is there, because Ketz Sam Lachoshech. There is an end to the times of darkness.